Welcome back, everyone. This is another episode in the G10 series. Today I have for you the Benchmade Bugout 535. 535 referring to the full-size bugout because they also have a mini bugout. This is by Benchmade, which is a US company. This is manufactured in the US. Let's talk about some measurements. Overall, it's slightly above 7¼ inches. Got a cutting edge slightly above 3 inches, and a handle about 4¼ inches. Width, it's 1 1/8 of an inch. You'll have to excuse me, I'm just not used to reading measurements. And if you look at the thickness, this is about probably 3/8 of an inch. This is a light knife as well. Let's see how light it is. Woo, 2.15 ounces. I'm gonna give you some quick perspective right now because the Benchmade 940, which is in carbon fiber, is 2.4 ounces. So back to the Bugout, we're looking at 2.15 ounces. That is light. It's the reason why I use this knife for golf. Also some size comparisons to other popular knives. This is the Paramilitary 2 on top. Just can't talk sometimes. And a Delica 4 on the bottom. Okay, as you can see, the blade, overall it's coming in about the same size as the Delica, but a lot more cutting edge. Let's talk about the blade. You got a nice stone wash, drop point profile. It's got your Benchmade insignia on one side, and the steel type, which is CPM-20CV. It's got very bright green anodized thumb studs, dual thumb studs, fully ambidextrous. It's a very good slicer. There's plenty of belly to get through a lot of different tasks, which is nice. Let's talk about the handle. This is a light gray G10. It's got your standoff screw right there. And this also has liners inside. You can see it. It's hard to tell, but that's where this body screw is connected to. You got your pivot screw. This is the blade stop bar screw. It's got a little bit of texturing, as you can see. It's very light. Doesn't feel aggressive in hand. Let's talk about the pocket clip. We got a deep carry pocket clip, which is direct from the factory. And let me just give you a comparison. So they do have different sized deep carry pocket clips. You can tell this one's much larger. Good retention. It's an average size ramp for this, so easy to get through most material, most thicknesses. And it's fully ambidextrous because you can swap it to the other side. And if you're a left-handed knife user, let's take a look at that in the pocket. Oof, look at that. Practically disappears. Plenty of room for your hands to get in the pocket. Does not take up much real estate. Let's talk about availability and price point. This particular model was a Blade HQ exclusive. The exact model number is 535-2002. I got this model many years ago, and when I got it, it was just shy of $200. This particular model is no longer available unless you find one on the secondary market. But there's plenty of other models. They have ones that use different materials for the handle specifically, as well as the blade steel. But they can range anywhere from $160 to $300. The $300 one is carbon fiber. There's another one that's also mid 200s that uses aluminum material for the scales. So yeah, this particular one's not available on an online retailer, but there's plenty of other models that you can get. What about my final thoughts? I love this knife. This is my third Benchmade, and I carry this the most. And specifically, every time I go golfing, this is my carry. I know some of you might be thinking, why would you need a knife on a golf course? Yeah, I don't know, but there's plenty of instances where I don't think you need a knife, but as a knife guy, you just carry a knife. And I carry this every time I go golfing. It's so light, it disappears in the pocket. It's very useful. The blade's super useful. And I've sharpened this a couple times, at least twice. And I would say when I got the edge from Benchmade, I wasn't super impressed, but once I sharpened it up, which is interesting because I kind of led me away to not really use a knife, but once I sharpened it up and was able to get my edge on there, I started to appreciate it more because it became a really nice slicer. Very comfortable in hand. As you can see, the pocket clip does contact it, but it kind of finds its way into here. It rests right about there, so there's no hot spots, nothing to complain about. They do kind of a little bit of jimping on the liners inside, but I don't find it very useful. It's not aggressive though, so it won't rip up your thumb or anything, but I guess if anything, it just lets you know that your hand's on the top of the handle. Great knife. I would absolutely recommend one. I kind of stayed away from it for a while because the regular models, let me just quickly check. They use a polymer material. So most of the models around the $170 range, those use the polymer material, which I've read that they're kind of flimsy. So I kind of stayed away from a Benchmade Bugout for the longest time. But when this model dropped with G10, I certainly wanted to try it out. No regrets. It's a great knife. But if you're interested, I would definitely recommend getting one. And try the stock model if you get a polymer one, and then there's always options to change the handles out. As always, I'll drop links, resource links in my description, so you can give you some direction of where you can check those out. All right, appreciate you tuning in. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Drop a comment, let me know if you have a bug out in your collection, if you're thinking about getting one. Also, make sure you subscribe and click on the bell icon so that way you can get notified when the next video drops. And hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Stay frosty.